All right guys, in a recent video, we did this little integrated sink with the backsplash, and you guys absolutely loved it. We will link that video in the description of this video. But you guys wanted me to go to the next step and show you how to apply a vinyl sticker to epoxy. And that's what we're gonna do, so stay tuned. All right guys, so what we have is a vinyl sticker that we created with our Cricut. You can get vinyl stickers from Etsy, just about anywhere you want to, but we actually did this one ourselves. Now, it's cut out, it's on the backing. There's two ways you can do that. You can go get the transfer paper, it's clear, but I have a little pro tip. I like to come in here with just blue tape. It's much more efficient and a lot less money. So we're gonna just take that. All right, so now what we'll do is we've already sanded our surface. You need to make sure you do that prior to putting down any sticker, because you don't wanna sand after you've put your logo, because then you're gonna scratch your logo. All right, so now we're gonna come over the top. We're gonna pull our logo. Now with tape, sometimes you have to go a little slower. So it doesn't want to come off as easily. All right, so now we've taken it off. We put it on here. Now the only thing is, it's hard to see through because it's not clear to be able to get your get it straight. But I know that this is straight with my bottom edge, so I'm going to use that as my guide. All right, well, I think about right there is good. Now Kenny would be killing me right now because I'm not measuring, but you know, that's how I roll and that's how I cook. So don't judge me. All right, so we're gonna take our finger, rub that off. So for you guys that do this a lot more than me, using your vinyl cutters, you know there's little tools that you can use, but this is how I do it. All right, so now we have that. I'm gonna pull it off. Boom, there we go. All right, so now what you would do is come over with a clear flood coat, and that's gonna bury this in between the two layers of epoxy, and you're ready to go. So at this point, we can decide just to put a clear flood coat, maybe add a little bit of diamond dust in it if you want, gold dust, but I'm gonna take it to the next level. You've learned to expect nothing less from me, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here with our Stone Spray. You see us use this a lot when we're doing beach themes. We use it as the sand, but this has a texture in it when it dries, and it really does look like a true granite. You could actually do a whole countertop with nothing but this. Let me know if you would like to see that video. Leave me a comment below. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just dust this over the top. It's gonna make it look a little more authentic and real. And that's what we're going for, is building layers. So here we go. Remember, with this, what I'm doing, layering, less is best. All right, here we go. If there's any place that you kind of want to cover up, if there's an imperfection in the finish that you don't like, this is where you do it. Again, you decide how much you want on the top. I think that's good. It's still allowing my background to come through. I really like this. Now let's talk about the logo. So what I'm gonna do with the logo is I'm gonna go ahead and spray, and then I'm gonna immediately come back with a little paintbrush, and I'm gonna clean everything off the logo, because this stays wet for quite a while. All right, so if you like that look with that Stone Spray over the logo, I could actually absolutely leave it, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little brush, kind of wipe that off. So all I did was wet the brush with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Now I could have just taped off this area. The reason I didn't is because if I taped it off and I sprayed, I would have a line where I taped it off, and I didn't want that. so I don't have to be super careful with this. I'm just kind of wiping it off. So guys, if you would like to see how we actually created this cool little design, check out the video link in this video that shows exactly how we created this look. It was so easy. We did it with paint and it really turned out cool. I really think the Stone Spray just took it to the next level. A great way to do these vanities that have built-in sinks and integrated backsplashes. Alrighty, everything looks good. We're ready to go. Okay, we'll let everything dry. A couple of hours is a safe bet. Then we'll come over it with a clear flood coat. Okay, so I have mixed up my clear coat, 3 to 4 ounces per square foot, and we're gonna do the same thing like we did in our color coat. I let my epoxy set up and thicken just a little bit in the cup. Now we're gonna go on our backsplash. I'm gonna use my hand. There's a little bit of misinformation out there about using your hands to roll the epoxy over the edge. That using your hands is going to cause ripples on your edges. This is absolutely incorrect. By taking your hand and pushing it over the edge, rubbing your edges, what you're doing is you are allowing epoxy to get on your edges so the rest of the epoxy will flow over very evenly. If you don't do this, that's when you get the ripples and the drips. So this is how we have done it going on 10 years. We've not had any issues at all with ripply edges. So I will continue to really recommend that you do this. Now, the epoxy is starting to thicken up a little bit. I'm gonna come in here first, do my edges. You can use a brush. You can use just about anything that you want to. But by doing my edges first and my backsplash first, I'm gonna allow that layer of epoxy to sort of thicken up a little bit. By using your hands also, you can ensure that you're not going to get surface tension because you're able to touch it and fill in all of those areas. Now what I can do is as this starts to slide down, I can pick up and add more. Same thing with my sink. I'm gonna apply the epoxy on the sink first, allow that to start to thicken up. That way when I do my complete countertop, I'm gonna have more resin on those vertical surfaces. If you are doing an integrated sink like this, you can take that measurement without the sink, measure length times width, and then I always add 4 to 6 ounces for a sink this size, and another 3 or 4 ounces for my backsplash. All right, now that that's all inside that sink, it's well coated. Again, by using my hand, I can tell where I have some thin spots. Now I did add a little diamond dust to this clear coat. I love it. All right, I'm gonna let that set up for just a little bit. Also, it's gonna be setting up a little bit in my bucket. Be very mindful, pay attention. If your epoxy starts to get warm, you'll wanna get it out on the surface. You don't want it to get too warm for your flood coat because you really want that flood coat to self-level and be glass-like. I continue as it drains down. I continue to pick that up and put it back. As it starts to thicken up, you'll get less and less dripping down. Wow, I love this spray. It makes it look really 3D when you put that epoxy over the top. So I don't like to use very much heat on my flood coat, especially on any vertical surface. If I notice that I have any bubbles, I can come in with my Relax by Fuzion, or I can hit very, very lightly my surface with some heat. All right, we'll let this set up just a little bit longer and I'll come back and do the rest of the surface. Okay, I'm ready to do the rest of my sink. Nice and even. Now, if I were doing a really large surface, you could definitely use a trowel, but this smaller surface, I'm perfectly happy using my hand. By taking that epoxy, rolling it over my edges and under, I'm allowing that epoxy to get to the edge, and because this has a slightly rounded edge, It's not going to build up surface tension. It's going to roll, and it's also going to roll underneath the bottom. Now that my inside of my sink is starting to thicken up, I'll come back in with another layer of epoxy. Let that kind of roll down. And I'm going to have a gorgeous, nice, thick layer of coating on the inside of the sink, which is going to give it even more protection. All right, guys, if you would like to see a detailed video on how to do a really nice flood coat, we'll link that video in the description of this video. At this point, we can decide to either heat it up a little bit to remove the surface bubbles, or I'm going to come back in with my Relax. I don't really want to add a lot of heat to my vertical surfaces. I'm going to come in with the Relax by Fuzion, and that's going to take care of any bubbles. Perfect. Beautiful. At this point now, I'm going to walk away, turn off the lights, and allow the flood coat to cure. The reason we turn off our lights is we don't want any little critters to see themselves and dive bomb into our surface. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was really fun. Fun project. Very easy to take an old, worn out sink, revitalize it, and give it a new purpose in life. If you'd like to see more videos and content like this, let me know. Remember, all of the products that we used in this video can be purchased off of our website, RK3 Designs, where we do free shipping on all orders over $100 and same-day shipping if you order before noon Central Time. Until next time, remember, don't be scared, move forward, and be creative.